Hi guys, it's Mark again, and we're looking at the next stage of our refurb of a Yamaha V90. And today I'll be looking at cleaning up, inspection and replacing the brake shoes on our brake drum. Now this is how it's come straight from the bike. So if you look at my earlier part, you'll see where I've actually taken the front wheel out of the bike. Once you've got the front wheel out, this is pretty much a separate item. It's pretty much standalone, but pulled straight out. There shouldn't be anything holding it in. Now, if you look carefully at this drum, you'll see that you've got the two shoes there, and they operate on a cam mechanism. I don't know if I can get that working there. You can see the cam just at the top up here, that when I pull the lever there, operates that little cam, which in essence pushes those two shoes apart, and they therefore rub on the drum and slow you down. Now, clearly this one's been sat around for a long time. There's a lot of gunge, gunk, oil, other unsavory deposits. The shoes themselves still got quite a lot of meat on them, but these are the original shoes, so they're going to be at least nearly 40 years old, so they've had a chance to absorb all sorts of horrible contaminants, damp, moisture, oil, brake dust, all that sort of stuff. So they're going to come off. So they're not actually held in by anything other than the tension of those two springs, top and bottom there. They are actually what pull that in. It sits on a little bracket there, a little pin there, and you've got the flat cam at the top there. So they just basically lever that up, and it should literally snap in your hands and pull off. And then behind that you'll have a spacer, which is in the middle there, nicely covered in oil. Now you can probably, might not be able to see it from this, but deep down in the bowels of there, you've got the drive that runs through the speedo aperture there, which runs up to the head. So that'll need a good inspection and good clean up as well. The bearings could do with a clean up, repacking of grease so they're ready to go back on. And also, if you look at the state of the hub there, you can see it's pretty gunky, so we're going to give that a good clean off. So what are we going to use to clean that? We're going to use some good old bicarb. We're going to mix that into a paste, and then we'll apply that to the drum using a toothbrush. Obviously it's an old one, you're not the one you want to use when you're cleaning your teeth, but then we'll leave that for a good 20 minutes or so, and then once we've done that, we'll give it a wash off and see how everything looks. So cleaning up the metal work, we're probably going to use some good old-fashioned wire wool, but word of caution, if you're going to use wire wool, you've got to make sure you keep it away from the bearings, because any kind of little strands of wire that get stuck in there are not going to do your bearings any good. So make sure you either tape that off or seal it up somehow so that you keep the good old swarf out of there. We've also looked at the bearings on these beforehand, before we took the wheel out, to make sure the bearings weren't clapped. If the bearings have got any play on them, then you're probably looking at knocking those out from each side and replacing. But these are okay, so they just need a bit of a clean up, re-grease, pack them, and then go back in the bike. So a little bit more further on when we've actually degreased this unit, and then we can examine things a bit closer. Here we go. We've given it a good clean off. We had to use a detergent cleaner as well. The bicarb did shift a lot of it, but we still needed to get rid of some other stuff with something a bit more akin to degreasing. So as you can see in the drum there, we've got the new shoes in. I'm actuating the cam. That's why you can see some movement there. And as you say, if the brake sits roughly on the bike like that, so when you pull your hand on the lever, it pulls that cam down through this cable here, and in turn that operates the cam on the back, which expands the shoes and into contact with the drum, and hence hopefully stops you. So we've also been inside there and given that a good grease, so it's all new grease in there. We've greased also the bottom pin and the top cam there as well, as I've now got it on my finger. And we also note on this side we've got a grease nipple there, so we've got a grease gun, and so in due course when we put it back on the bike, we give it a grease up as well, so we make sure the bearings have got grease as well. And that's where the spindle will go, through there, so we'll give that a spindle a bit of a grease up as well, in case we have to wheel again in the future. So up to now, that's about it. Next we'll be moving on to the front wheel tube tyre, looking at the spokes, looking at the state of the drum, and making sure everything's tickety-boo there as well. See you later.